guys, I just want to welcome you. Hello. I hope that everyone is having an amazing August so far. Just drop in even in the questions or in the comments where you guys are coming from. Hey there, lady. Hi, Robin. All right. Nevada. Man, it's hot, right? I straight up don't even know if I have been out this week because it has been so hot here in Florida. Wicked hot. So we're going to cool it down. I'm going to set the stage. If you don't know me, clearly I talk fast, I move fast, and one of the things that I really want to help you guys see is that we can all breathe through this. We can lessen the overwhelm, because I felt extremely overwhelmed when I first graduated from the Institute for Integrated Nutrition 10 years ago. So 10 years ago in this office, I was building my wellness business with two little kids, Sammy and Max. And Max was in Montessori, for maybe 2 mornings, if that. And that wasn't until about like a few years after we had moved. So I understand one thing very clearly, and that is time. A lot of us don't have time, or we are caretakers, or maybe you're like me, where you're building a business with an autoimmune, or maybe something else that has just pushed you to say, I have to do this as a business. So what we are all going to do is take deep breath. Remember why we started this, because any business can be difficult to build. But the goal is that we lessen the overwhelm in building it. So we're going to kind of make this a little fun and interactive. What I want each person to do is drop their goals into the chat. I want to actually make this where you guys are doing this teaching session with me. We're going to be going over a work with me page. We're going to be going over even strategies that I used when I was launching my business. I didn't use paid ads. I didn't have the money. I didn't have a team. It was me, myself, and Irene. And so I want to show you how to actually break this down and make it so that you don't feel paralyzed, because I think that's one of the biggest things that we feel. So I want you to drop your goals. I also want you to tell me if you're a new coach, if you're an existing coach. We're going to take a look at the Done For You programs, but I first want to just lay the foundation of how we get there. So let me just share my screen. I did this the other day, and it actually worked really well in a group. So I want to kind of look at this as if we're all in a group together, even though we're on this e-learning platform and you guys are on this webinar. I want this webinar to be not just a stepping stone for you, but for you to be able to come out of this and say, okay, I understand how to reverse engineer into, either the money that I need to make each month, or how am I actually going to put this business together. So everyone, take out a pen, or you're going to follow along later, because we're going to actually build what I build for my one-on-one clients. Also, what I built for even myself. Each one of you, and you'll see my little picture of boxes right there. Each one of you need to have list builders. One of the things that we have fallen prey to, and drop in the comments if you have experienced this yourself, where we all think just because we put a freebie out there that we get hired, or that somebody's going to click and to opt right in. What I want you to think about as we embark in this fall, and as we go into winter, and as you build your business, I want you to think of your freebies and your workshops as a gateway entrance to what it is like to work with you. Programs and putting programs together, or courses, do it yourself, memberships, work with me. That is all possible. And it's kind of important, because not everyone, let me just stop sharing for a second. Not everyone is going to be ideal for your one-on-one. I want you to even put yourself in your client's shoes. Even in you know, your own experience when either you were searching, you felt hopeless, maybe you felt overwhelmed, maybe something in the system had failed you. We all have our own experiences. I want you to think, what were you intentionally searching for? And then write down, all right, my list builders need to be a reflection of me. So my list builder was a 10 ways to repair your gut. I had put a few little videos with that. And guys, we can say we have all these platforms. This is your best friend. This is your camera crew. So we also have live features, which we didn't have back then. So that means it's free. We also have a recording platform that you use on Chrome called loom.com. Again, this is a free tool. You can shoot those little videos. And what you do, and I'm going to show you even tonight, is you just pull the content from that actual freebie and or PowerPoint and start creating these teaser videos. We want to make sure that the freebies that you have showcase, you know, this amazing transformation, and you also using your freebies and or your workshops to create videos so that you have them on YouTube where people intentionally search. So that same video on YouTube can be downloaded and put onto IGTV, where there's actually a clickable link. And we also want to make sure that you're not just showing up and teaching, you know, the information on the PowerPoints or the freebies or your programs, but you're actually showing up and giving people information that's structured, solving the problem, and then, of course, giving them an opportunity to direct message you or to even, you know, come into the group so that you're going to do these amazing either challenges, freebies, and most importantly, you have this content, this balance of workshops, you have this balance of maybe a challenge, whether you want to do it live or you can even do it pre-recorded, get people to sign up so that you start to build that like, know, and trust factor. You're not giving away the shopping center for free. You're not giving away too much. You're giving away enough for that person to say, wow, you know, when I follow Wendy, I always love, you know, hearing about her experience with 123. I know that she consistently shows up. The other day, she was doing a workshop on, you know, perimenopause, or she was doing this workshop on thyroid issues. You know what? I'm going to continue to go to her Facebook page because I saw her on her personal page talking about her hormonal experience. And my friend tagged me, but she's doing these series of lives, 3 lives a week. Siri thought I was talking to her. She's doing these 3 lives a week on her business page. Or, wow, you know, my friend just told me I should join this group on Facebook because this woman, Wendy, is talking about how she was in this insane hormonal chaos. This she was having these metabolism problems. She was having these gut problems. She was exhausted, and she found out that she had these imbalances in her, imbalances in her gut. And so all of a sudden, that one person is like, wow, I'm going to actually join this group because she is doing a mini training series for the month. And so when you think about your list building, please, guys, for those of you who are launching in the fall, you're building out your Work With Me page, I just want to show you some price structure so we can kind of get into the mindset of how people actually flow into our funnel. You can be working online, offline. We clearly have a lot of people right now working in an e-format, but it's even easier because there are so many different platforms. Practice Better, Facebook Rooms, Zoom, of course, and you can see people in this e-format. You still want to, of course, know your offers. It's really difficult to have a powerhouse phone call or even pitch your services if you don't know who they fit and who they are for. Not everyone, like I said, is that perfect person for the one-on-one. It may be trust issues. It may be that they're too busy. These are all sales objections. But the truth is that we do soulful sales. And so people have their own either hang-ups, their own, maybe they don't trust you yet. And so they want to get a taste of what it's like. That's when we hear this word tripwire or low cost offer. And so that gives somebody this lower cost option to get a taste of what it's like to work with you. We hope that from that lower cost option, they are going to convert to either a one-on-one or a group. Some of you have a membership, self-paced courses, etc. And so when we start to understand what are the offers on our one-on-one, either a 2-tier or 3, low, mid, high, then all of a sudden we start to build a really healthy funnel, which is really just these different stages we take our ideal client through. So when you think of your Work With Me page, your Work With Me page is simply the stages, meaning the low cost offer, such as a single session, a 90-minute session. Your low cost offer is great for whom? You can accomplish what? Well, I can tell you in my business that I had 2 low cost offers that helped me to get a baseline. One was a detox. It's just like our seasonal program that we have right now. It's very similar to the one that I wrote. And then I had a paleo program for that person who just was extremely scared of the word detox. Then I also had like a middle program, and that was actually getting somebody to go grain-free, getting them to go deeper into their experience, and that was a 60-day. And then I had a 4 months that was a little longer, because that usually was that person that had food intolerances, food sensitivities, a lot of gut issues, a lot of autoimmune issues, or that they came to me because they were attracted to what I was about, which was about change. They were attracted to my personality, and they wanted to lose weight. They had some other goals and or emotional. So I knew in those different offers who it was right for. I also knew if I was on a discovery session that I could explain to that person what each offer would be like. What would it be like to work with me for 90 minutes? And note, guys, the sales part of it, if somebody's working with you for a 90-minute session, we know, it's not like you're going to fix your gut. It's not like you're going to have all these, lifelong kind of, changes. But I will tell you, there's a lot of people that really don't need much. They want to come to somebody and have a session. They want to come to somebody, get off gluten, have some of their questions resolved, and a 90-minute intensive can actually get a lot accomplished. Plus, it's a great entry. That entry is the same as a low-cost option group. And so we're going to actually dive into some numbers, answer some questions, and of course, show you how easy it is to use the done-for-you programs so that you spend more time thinking about your ideal client, the offers that you have and who they fit, how you're going to, hint, get your workshops, buy them, or get your freebies and or challenges, really unpack those materials, and then sit there and say, who are 5 to 10 people who are friends who I can reach out to immediately? Okay, I'm going to ask them to test my program, or I'm going to ask them for, a testimonial based on like a 60-minute session with me. I'm also going to ask people I know who fit kind of the model of my ideal client, what problems they're going through. You're going to write them down. You're going to keep an entire book called your Pain, Problem, and Solution Book. And you're going to start to hear not just, oh, I think my client is struggling with this, this, and this, or my ideal client is between the ages of 40 and 60. You're going to start hearing people in right now, in their current life, somebody that is similar to that ideal client that you have envisioned, or has aspects of each one of us in our own story. Maybe there's gut issues, maybe there's hormone, maybe there's sugar. It's not that you want to be all over the place. You want to define, this is my niche, and these are my signature teaching pillars. Those signature teaching pillars help you to also set yourself apart from other people, And a pure example could be you specialize in weight loss, but you're talking about estrogen dominance. So you can set yourself apart and really make this connection between estrogen dominance and weight. Or maybe you want to end, the weight loss dieting. And so you're going to really talk more about the daily work, not just the mindset part, but what does it actually take? And what do you offer in your offers that show, well, I'm going to help you rewire your brain. We're going to focus on being self-aware. We're going to focus on I am statements. We're going to focus on affirmations. And when you work with me, we're also going to make sure that your blood sugar is balanced. It could be blood sugar, habits, and gut. And really making sure that when you look at your freebies, when you look at the different things that we've put together, that you stay true to, of course, what you want to teach, but you also think, what is this ideal client struggling with? And what would they be desiring, right now? What do they actually need? And then what path am I going to take them down? Because I know that this person has got, but he or she is coming to me for these weight loss issues. I know that this person's got a lot of autoimmune, but they keep talking to me about this stress in their sleep. I know that this person's got all of these weight and hormonal issues, but this person, my ideal client keeps coming to me for beauty and anti-aging. And those are just examples from coaches I can even think of that I've spoken to that have had that realization of, okay, I know that I'm building out my offers in this one way, but what do I need to show up with to kind of get their attention and to also be able to master the message to them that you really are that one-stop shop. Again, it's not that you have skin over here and sugar over here. You get clear on what you want to be known for, what are your teaching pillars, 3 to 4, and then how can your offers really showcase the signature steps, the signature method, the signature blueprint that you take people through, even if you don't call it a blueprint. Because when you think of great conversion, people really need to know, yep, we're going to go step 1. Step 1 is your low-cost offer. For them to move to step 2, that's the next step. You want to get off weight? No problem. Here's new weight loss. But this next step is how we're going to master that emotional weight loss. That next step is intuitive eating. That's a higher touch, more intensive work. And it's imperative for you to go through those steps so that at the end of the day, you've mastered those essential steps to really be healthy in life. So I want you just to kind of expand, because we can often look at something like this and say, well, great, I'm not charging $597, I'm not doing this, or I don't do VIP days, but we're going to actually reverse engineer and think of some really simple pricing so that you can see how important it is to have your free offers and to be using them so that you showcase who you are and to lead your ideal client to something in your offer suite that you know is going to truly change their life. So before we even go on to questions and before we dive into the programs, I want each one of you to take the action step and do it now. Do it now or do it in the next 24 hours. Commit and say, imperfect action, I can say as a recovering perfectionist, I'm going to charge X amount for a month. Right now I have this at $597. Maybe if you're a newer coach, you're saying, you know what, I'm going to charge $397, then I'm going to increase to $497, $597, maybe you're at $297, which I would prefer you to be at $333, because then that's a 1K program for 3 months, but you're going to write it down so that we actually get you to your goals, and we're talking facts and we're not talking theory. We're talking true numbers. How can you change lives and make money? And that is what we're about to do. So I'm going to say at the average, I'm going to say, you know what, $397, undervalued myself. I was scared. So I want to own that, but I'm also going to hold you accountable to analyze every month and say, do I need to increase my prices? Of course, not to the people who are with you for a longer commitment. But we're going to say $397. We're going to say that 397 times 5 clients a month is 1,985. If we multiply that by 12, that's 23,820. Start mapping these out. When you map out your one-on-one and even start to break down your lower offers, you might actually find that you have better conversion because maybe you want to get somebody in at a 97 low cost for a one-on-one. And they are going to upsell to maybe your membership. Just want to upsell to a membership or even a class a month. And so if you start to say, okay, here at $397, 97 being your lowest, 97 offer, $397, and then you have a $597 a month higher touch. You can include Voxer message, which is great. Give people a great way to, message you. I always had my clients, I would say, each day we're doing a touch in the morning, a touch at night, and especially because of the people that I worked with, they needed that anyway. We always did a lot of detoxification and gut stuff, and it can bring up a lot of stuff. Can bring up a lot of stuff emotionally, and at the end of the day, we do deliver programs because it gives people structure, but most of coaching, even if you focus only on food or functional medicine testing or you're more of the emotional, it still is that journey of trust. So this could be a higher touch, maybe like 60-minute a week, 20-minute additional, or a 90-minute and then a 30. And you might say, oh, well, that's a lot of time. But the truth is, if somebody's going to work with you, whether this price is $597 or $1,597 or $2,957 for a month, they're coming to you because they really want to invest in that transformation. So if you had a 97 as an offer and that person did not want to go to one-on-one, where do they go? What group or what self-paced course or what membership? And so when you start to craft out your offers, you're like, oh, okay, so I have my one-on-one. How many people can I see a month? How much am I going to make? Where am I starting to build these other offers to appeal to different people? Even with just this one template, and then we are going to get to questions and look at the programs, we could do a $97 offer with our goal at 30 people. When we say goals, this is a very important thing to hear. You can do Facebook ads. They do 100% work when you have nailed down, what your ideal client wants. What I also want to encourage you to do is start sharing the story. Start sharing the story, the problem, the solution. So when you buy a program, I want you to force yourself, get a little uncomfortable, to sit down, open up that guide, and I'm either going to show you tonight, open up that guide and start highlighting what are core pieces of the guide that you're going to share. Then I want you to pull down PowerPoints. I want you to pull down the freebies if you buy an all-inclusive program. Or if you're buying the membership, like the brand new gut membership or the kids modules in the membership or the hormone or any of our new courses, I want you to actually open it up, and I want you on a separate piece of paper like this, or to do it on a Google Doc, to start taking notes and looking at key, what I call hot points. We all know as coaches, and one of the biggest disconnects that I see in the coaching industry is we all are so invested because it is our own struggle. And for most of us, myself included, I would say, yeah, stress comes and I could find myself in a flare. I mean, that's full honesty of having Lyme and, you know, parasitic infections and Clostridium and asthma and every other thing. But the beauty of being able to coach somebody is that we lessen that stress and we learn those tools. It was through every different person that I hired, and that changed my life, that helped me to create the business that I created. Always thinking, not should I go live? Oh my, what are people going to think of me? Is this person not going to sign up for my product? I mean, of course anybody feels that way. It's scary. But I would always sit there and say, if I could go back in time when I got diagnosed with an ulcer or pre-Barrett, esophagus at 14, what would I have wanted my mom to know? What would I have wanted that gastroenterologist to tell my mom? What would I have wanted when I was diagnosed with asthma and on prednisone for theophylline and everything for years? What would I have wanted to know being that girl going off to college, not even knowing that I was allergic to a ton of different foods, but had gut issues? What would I want to know? And that is one of the things that I really encourage you to do, because when you start sharing that story, especially on your personal page, not links, but you start telling a story with, I wish I would have known this because this is what happened. 1, 2, 3. And, in today's topic, or today, we're going to talk about cat's claw. And you take that same more storytelling on your personal page, but then you actually bleed that into strategy on your Facebook business page. You take the time to say, you know what, I'm scared, but I'm going to take this workshop down. I'm going to talk about, the power of fermented foods. I'm going to show people how easy it is, because guys, it's not a lack of information. Can we all agree? I mean, drop a 1 if you agree. It's not a lack of information. We have more books, more information, and yet we're more confused. The biggest problem our ideal client struggles with is exactly what we do. Stress comes into life. We don't always have the time to take care of ourselves. And so our ideal clients, most of them are not us. I would say we're like the top 10%, those like biohackers. And I don't mean that you're just paleo or primal. You're like, oh no, I will relentlessly search for, this herb. And you've geeked out on this stuff your whole life in varying degrees. But our ideal clients get stuck, just like we get stuck saying, I don't know how to build out my work with me page, or I don't know how to show up and do a video. They get stuck in their life because they haven't learned those tools. And so our job is to actually show up in a strategic way, shoot those videos, and actually show people, here is the information. But if you don't have the time to make fermented foods, it's all good. These are my favorite ones. And when you join this workshop, this master class, this intensive class, not only are you going to get recipes, but I'm also kicking off my elimination diet in September, or, in the fall, or I'm kicking off my Get Off Sugar program, or guys, we're going to be starting, this program on XYZ. And you start to actually bleed out a story, which is even easier than most of the stuff that we do. So let's just say that 97 offer, 30 people. How do you get 30 people? The same way that I did, the same way Jess Royston does. You pull apart that guide and you start talking about it. Then you share behind the scenes. You take your camera crew and you shoot a video and you're like, hey guys, coming soon. You do that work that feels a little harder, but you keep it simple. Keep it simple on the platforms. Keep it simple if you want to use lead pages or you want to use Eventbrite, maybe Teachable. Keep that simple, or find somebody that can help you so that you have more time to build the why. Why should you, buy my program? Why should you join this membership? You should join this membership because at that time right now, we're all struggling. We all lack in community. We all have stress, which can affect us with our hair, our sex levels, our sex drive, our mood, also our confidence, our anxiety. And so when you join this program, you get access to and then that's what they get included. Plus, you also get additional bonus 1, bonus 2, bonus 3. It's not a difficult thing, guys. I know it feels overwhelming because it's new, but that's why I wanted to go over this, because when you start to build that like non-trust factor and you get comfortable in speaking, or you take the opportunity to reach out to gyms that you're a part of, yoga studios, your own acupuncturist, your own people who you know are in a situation who would love to either have you teach, love to co-partner in a program, and you do a 70-30 split. That means 70 to you, 30 to them, or 60-40. That means 60 for you, 40 to them if they're handling most of the payment processing. Or you just, like I said, show up, and you will get people when you start to be the solution. Not just teaching like these are the top 5 foods for, but you really start to bring somebody into your life. Even if you're introverted, shoot the videos pre-recorded. Even if you're extroverted, this is a standard practice for everyone. We have to get comfy. Feel free to go to my YouTube video. You will see the videos where I was like this. Hi, today we're going to talk about cranberry juice. I look like a deer caught in the headlights, but you know what? We all start somewhere. So with this 97 times 30, 2,910, and guess what we're going to do? We are going to upsell to our one-on-one. So you could say that's 97, you could say that's 150. I even did it where I would say to people in a group, do you guys want to have 3 of you, or whoever you want to bring as a friend for this amount, or bring your partner. You can make it so fun, and you can create offers that actually appeal to that person and make it super exciting. Or for those of you who do network marketing companies, be like, hey, do you want, your own little oil session, or do you want me to go over, these beauty products? So you're going to upsell. If you take out of 30 people and you just say, you know what, I'm going to upsell 3 people, that's $300. This can lead to a larger, this can lead to a more intensive group. So that 197, you can then even say, guys, I'm going to be starting this more intensive group where we are diving into candida, or we are diving into, mindset. And that's just one simple launch. So when you think about launching, it doesn't have to be exhausting. I think some of the most fun things are actually the offers that we have on our Work With Me page. And if you aren't doing as much one-on-one, then start to think, what would be the easiest way for me to, give people exactly what they want right now? Is it low-cost classes? Is it 2 classes a month? What is what do I need to actually have in my offers to be able to attract that person and say, I've been exactly looking for this. And so that person actually does start to reach out to you and say, thanks so much for posting or doing that live on beauty, or doing that live on the very foods that you should eat for sleep, because this has been horrible. And then all of a sudden you can start to see where they are placed in your actual offer funnel. So let me just look at a few questions. And then we're going to go. Somebody saying, can you put on the screen again to show the flow chart? Yes, I will I'll put that even in the replay, but let's just do it quick. And I will say, you can also go to my site, which has the Profitable Biz Wellness Blueprint. And it actually has this completely mapped out with a 65K launch, in 65K year, an 80K, and 100. I loved to have different offers, but everyone's a little, I love to have different offers on my one-on-one. I loved VIP days where you're intensively working with people. And that's why I always say, know what your hourly is. For some of you, you are building out on, courses or programs that are going to be higher cost. Just define what is included. When we're really confident and we believe not only ourselves, but we are really clear on that process and the promise of that program or that course, people do come because they are extremely, not just excited, they're inspired, they're motivated, and they know that you're that person. If you've launched before, drop a 2. If you've launched before and you haven't had success, go and really look at that launch and say, did I not show up enough? I call it the 2 and the 2 and the 2 method. It means even before you start pre-marketing anything, take that 2 weeks and you show high value information. You take people through that journey, such as those 3 lives in that week. You take one PowerPoint, you break it up into those 3 lives. You start getting people onto either hot seats or saying, hey, join me for Friday free training, jump on this Zoom. And I'll just, let me just take another question that I'm going to share, just something that even happened to me the other day. And I was so blown away by what this gentleman had done. And I thought, this is exactly what makes our Done For You programs nice, is they are completely done for you. So if you're somebody that is like, actually, let me just say now, this gentleman who was going over thyroid issues, Thyroid 101. So we'll look at even the memberships, and you'll see that when you have amazing PowerPoints, there's so many different strategies. Of course, some of you are going to do membership. Some of you do higher ticket. Some of you have a combination of functional medicine testing, supplementation, and you're focusing in hormones. Some of you are going to do more of that one-on-one intensive. There's going to be a beautiful blend for each of you. But we have to, of course, build that awareness. So I was intentionally searching on Facebook. I was looking for thyroid, support. It's a whole nother story, guys, for another day. But that was a hot mess of not being told that I had thyroid issues for a very, very long time. And so I was looking, and I came upon his group. And it was extremely clear what the group was about. It said, thyroid issues for those who have been diagnosed with hypothyroid or hyper. I thought, oh, this is great. I flip-flop, and I'm more like on the hyper. Let me join this. So I went right into that group, was welcomed in a very nice way, and said, hey, we're doing our Sunday get to know your hormone issues. There was a Zoom link right there. It wasn't even a sign up. It was just register for that. Very simple, no page. And all of a sudden I got a reminder, and it said, okay, so come at 1:00 and you'll be able to learn all these problems that could be happening that are contributing to your thyroid. He did an unbelievable presentation, went exactly through every slide, and it was just like our programs, like really clear, these steps. And then after he said, I'm going to send the replay to everyone. I got a replay, and he gave a free guide. And I read it, and I was really impressed. I even emailed back, and I said, I'm really impressed by, your work, and you seemed also really caring. And just a side note, he even was like, I'm not good at, Zoom, guys. This is brand new, but stick with me. And he really just showed his heart. And I think in this world these days, we just want somebody to really care, hence coaching. No matter, how you coach, I think that's the beauty of being a coach. So he emailed me, and he said, this is what it's like to work with me. You can work with me one-on-one, or you can do my self-paced program. Let me just, before we dive into even the programs, I want you to see that you guys are no different. It took me a long time, and I still work on it. I still work on that money mindset. It took me a long time to realize that I was a good coach and that I was a great listener, because I would get clients who had gone to Mark Hyman or were working with Mark Hyman or Chris Kressler, and they would say, I love working with them. I just also need somebody who's been in my shoes. So right here, you have an adrenal thyroid mastermind. You will see right here, teachable, so it's very easy, pages like this, but there are so many simple pages right now. This is no different from exactly what you guys can do. So she's got her self-paced. This is exactly what Dana Denali has on her site, where she's taken our 6-month retune. She has it self-paced, or she has an open enrollment. I want to even show you a few examples to really help you to see that there's so many different ways, so many different possibilities, and you are no different from anybody out there. It just is the courage to go after and say, I'm going to do this. Here we have a Hashimoto's self-management program. She also has a thyroid secret. You can do exactly the same thing. Learn how to take back my health, $4.95. I'm going to show one more example. Well, I'll show actually 2 coaches who actually have our content so that you can see that it's doable and that it actually works. Right here, you will see her value ladder. That's kind of what we looked at. And so her main goal, her higher ticket, is her apprenticeship. But she's got these entry points. We have this exact same, I mean, it's not Nicole's, but we do have our hormone writer that, of course, put together a PowerPoint like this. Many of you always even ask me, how can I use the programs? And I always say, you have your work with me offers. You can have your offers as a do-it-yourself. And you could, of course, make it $47. You can include a lower cost program for $97 as the upsell, to either be working with you one-on-one, to join an intensive group like Megan Rand and Dr. Alex with Zesty Ginger. I'm going to show you exactly. They have our detox. Our detox is, and you can hear actually both of them. They've both been on my podcast. You'll see that when I talk about like what steps, the detox that we have is actually their phase 1. And that's like getting off all the junk. Then they move people into a group, and then they move people into a mastermind. I'm going to show you Dana Denali. She actually has a bunch of our different programs, but you don't actually see them all here because she's decided to really solo focus in on the weight loss. I mean, on weight, beauty, and hormones. So you will see actually you'll see actually a self-paced program. Sorry, I went on the wrong one. So this is Retune Your Hormones. It's level 1. She's, of course, working on level 2. We're going to end with Katrina Reza. Katrina was actually featured on Stu McLaren's stage because she had such a successful membership. You can hear actually on a video that I have on YouTube, and she talked about how in the beginning she built her whole business around the person that she thought she was serving versus that person that actually was coming to her who was not exactly like her but really inspired. And so she has built her entire platform to be on a membership, but we have tons of coaches who are just like you who have built their businesses in so many different ways, so many different platforms, so many different ways, and there isn't this one way, meaning some of you always say, should I do a challenge or a webinar to a program? I'm going to just show you how easy it would be to unpack a program. Then I can show all of the new stuff. This is a 5-day no sugar challenge. I had a 5-day, gut challenge, but I'm going to show you how simple it is with any of our different content to break it down. If I was doing this and I wanted people to come here, I would, while I was editing, be sharing behind the scenes of like, hey, guys, I'm going to talk about 10 foods with hidden sugar, because I didn't know that when I was going to get my Starbucks, dairy-free coconut milk latte, that it was loaded with sugar until I did this. Drop a question below, because are you eating these foods that possibly have sugar? And then breaking down this to even be a social media post, like how to deal with sugar cravings. Do a little video, show behind the scenes, either how you handle sugar, how sugar's affected you, and really start to test out those different keywords that people are like, oh, wow, she's talking about anti-aging, or, oh, wow, she's talking about beauty. And then pull from your challenge and really personalize that. Create a little video each day. Show that person how simple it is to go with a sugar-free kind of day. Bring that person really into your life and talk to them about some of these other issues that are these higher level words that we hear, but help somebody to see that connection. People only convert when what? They connect with you, but most importantly, you connect these different problems, these different issues, these different symptoms, and you say, you know what? The reason I specialize in, I'll just do myself for example, the reason I specialize in gut is I truly believe all disease begins in the gut. I had blood sugar, issues. I was hypoglycemic. I struggled with gut issues such as candida and a myriad of other issues. I know that my mind, my mind got really off because of all these gut issues, and so I've always looked for natural solutions, essential oils, CBD oil, a cupping, all this other really cool stuff. And that's why when you work with me, we're going to take you through the steps of getting a baseline, detoxing your body, reducing that inflammation, removing foods that could be possibly triggering you. And of course, taking them through those different steps, but really using this kind of information to have at your fingertips to say, you know what, it's a perfect example. And no, I wasn't just talking about thyroid because we have this. Thyroid is just one of those pains in my butt. A lot of you guys ask me, well, do I need to do this in an evergreen webinar? Do I need to do this in a formal webinar? These days, you can have even Zoom. Download the people who have registered or connect it with Zapier to, of course, your email marketing system. But I would say for a lot of you, brand new, you're like I was. Tech was not your friend, or maybe isn't. What you can do here is literally like this, common thyroid disorders. That's an entire live. That can be pulled down, or you can do what Melissa Ramos did on her page, where she did an entire masterclass talking about vaginal bacteria, vaginosis, and then actually led them to a low-cost offer like, hey, you want to buy the oils here? Do you want to buy actually this mini protocol plan? Click here. And that's the beauty of content, is that you get to do more of what I'm doing right now, talking, showing your ideal client these connecting dots, like, hey, maybe you didn't know that your skin issues are related to your gut. Maybe you didn't know that, your sleep issues are related to your blood sugar. And start to help people to see that you're not speaking to everyone and fixing every problem. You're helping people to see that your signature process, the pain that you went through, your own struggles. And I would say for most of us, it wasn't just a singular struggle. It's a perfect example. This is the brand new gut membership. These are how the PowerPoints come. So whether you put this in practice better for your one-on-one onboarding, whether you put this into a membership, such as either Learn Dash on your WordPress site, or maybe you're doing a hybrid Kajabi and Kartra, or maybe you're doing ClickFunnels, it's much easier to convert and to actually sell when you're showing people, and you're not like showing them exactly like this, but you're taking people through, this is what it would be like when you join me next month for this class. I know that everyone is struggling with gut, immune, stress. Join this class. We will be diving into, all the following. This class is great for people who are, and of course, you also can give them recipes, which whether you do a class a month, whether of course you do that just as, like I said, a 12-month membership, and you start it where you open in fall, or you open January 1st, either one for you to either prep to build your list, but you'll know exactly what each month is, making it even easier to convert. But I just also have to show you these infographics because I'm so crazy about what we did. You get 4 templates for infographics. So please read on our page if it says Canva templates, the difference between our Canva templates to other people's. And trust me, guys, I've searched, is that a lot of Canva templates, they're gorgeous, they're stunning, but they don't have the information in there. So either you're going to find a virtual assistant, or you're going to be like maybe me trying to do it and it just doesn't work out. So there are 4 different templates in here, same as our PCOS course, the same as our brand new holistic life course, and our skin and beauty course. You can see right here, these, even just to have 10 of them, if you think of an Instagram feed or 30 days of social media, that's an infographic, that's a quote or a recipe, that's a video. That's an infographic, that's a recipe, and then there's a quote or a tip. So I'm just personally dying over these. Let me just see if there's any questions before, clearly I don't have a talking issue. Okay, so Mason, I'm also interested in offering self-paced and evergreen courses. I love self-paced courses. I think a lot of people, myself included, either that we feel that we're really busy, we don't want to commit to one-on-one, but we'll commit to doing a course. Any of the programs could be done as an evergreen, as a self-paced. Let's even just, can you tell me exactly what you would be interested in, Tammy, so I'll look specifically? And then somebody's saying, let me just see. Also interested in nothing. So let me just show you what you can do with a course, hypothetically, because it's this easy to build. And I think that's the part that gets most of us tripped up. Use the tapping. So I always insert, I do this for my own business. I always insert and say, what are my freebies actually going to be that lead them to, that self-paced course. So if the course is, let's say, stress course, or if it's a gut course, or if it's hormone, we're just going to say that this person specializes in these 3, then it would probably make sense for me to have either a low-cost program as one, maybe like a 21-day hormone detox. We're just going to say this hypothetically, which that can be low entry number 1, and that can actually graduate to something like the hormone membership, or even a specific, module, meaning perimenopause. We have so many different, or like the adrenal one, like a Viva Joram. And then both of these end up being evergreen. That one, as we said right here, could be evergreen. And so if you start to plan out and say, well, the price of the low cost 21 day at, that might even be $297 with video series, leading to the course or the membership, you start to play around with the different numbers, because as long as it makes sense for that next person to go to that next path, and those emails are personalized from you, like, hey, I know that you're midway into this program or this course, wanted to know if you wanted to do a one-time personalization, or when they actually graduate from that course, that maybe they go into a smaller intensive group, such as like $297 a month, and your goal is to have 5 people, or you can do $297 a month with 10 people. And all of a sudden you start building these more intensive touches with people without bleeding yourself out in your one-on-one. Somebody said, I've started down this path with your hormone DFYs. I mean, I think the biggest suggestion I have for anybody is to take the time to map it out. I 100% believe, and I know this from experience, that when we're extremely clear, when we have workshops, when we have even a challenge a month in a group to create engagement, or maybe you're even, inviting people on a business page, you start to build that tribe. People start to say, I'm going to continue to follow this person. I'm going to make sure that I go to this person's Instagram. One of our hormone specialists, Dr. Ashley, she does her set lives on Saturdays. She does 2 different lives. And her goal is to bring people either to her one-on-one or her self-paced courses. So each one of you need to have your own vision of what you see in the building of your business. I would say the most important thing that I've learned over time is to create a healthy customer life cycle. And that really means if this person's coming into this freebie that is about, sugar or mindset or affirmations or the kids, affirmations and teaching families, where am I taking them that makes the most sense? Is it an opportunity like, hey, so I know you just finished this, 5-day self-improvement in my group. Why don't we hop on the phone? This is actually, I'm in a group that they're doing this. Why don't we hop on the phone, see if we're fit, or join my women's community for only $47 a month. Or join for, $157 and get 2 sessions a month. If you start to look at your offers and really let yourself kind of get excited with them and think about what would be not only a wonderful opportunity, but what also would make somebody really super excited to be there. And then, of course, what problems are you really solving? And I think that's the part that we get a little nervous about. We all say, oh, well, I, had this one vision of my business, but it's not always has to be this one way. You might be attracting, people that are for hormones, but they're really concerned about their weight. Or you might be thinking that you're going to attract people for clean eating, but you've seen that all these people are coming to you for metabolism. Sometimes I say expand a little more on the testing and the showing up and taking PowerPoints and actually putting yourself in the hot seat to do them. And of course, reaching out to people that even for myself, and I'm not even coaching anymore. I've had 7 conversations in the last 2 months about co-collaboration teaching with Chinese herbalist, an acupuncturist, a massage therapist, a chiropractor's office, a person who deals with genetics. I mean, I've talked to so many different people, and I said, wouldn't it be amazing to support, your office or the people that you serve in this way? How could we create a great co-collaboration? And that's exactly how I built a referral business pretty fast, is that I just came with great content and actually would say, I would either walk in that place or I would send an email that actually had a video in there and said, this is what I do. I would love if I could come and teach. I did this with a yoga studio. Come and teach this adrenal fatigue workshop. I'm not a yogini. I'm kind of a fast-paced girl, and I think that it would be not only great to hear from somebody who isn't always, always going slow, you know, how easy it is to get into adrenal fatigue. And that person at that yoga studio was like, well, why would that be if you're the person who goes fast? And I said, because I guarantee you have a lot of people that are like me, who are coming in after work. And I would love to actually talk to that class that's coming in after work, and I can bring in some adrenal snacks, and I can give a little guide and a little handout. And that guy said, you know what, you're so right, because my night class is that way. It's very different from my other classes. And I knew to always pitch my opportunities, my services in a way that really also fit me, so that I could go and teach people that it doesn't take a lot to detox, and 15 minutes a day. So I just encourage you guys to go after those opportunities, because I think in this digital marketing world, especially in the last 5 years, everyone's like, oh, just do this and you'll get clients. I wish that everything in life was just that easy. To make it easier, we do have to have conversations with people, and it actually will lessen your frustration so much. Somebody's saying, do I have any mastermind groups that help coaches nail down their offers? I know we try different offers and see what works, but I've created enough to know. Yeah, I would say, if any of you are, you know, interested in coaching or an opportunity like that, feel free to reach out to me, please, you know, through our site. And if you do have any specific questions about programs or workshops, the different challenges, the different content that we have out there, you know, please reach out to us with any questions. We're always here for you. Some of you may also be more spending time, you know, doing blogs or doing your social media. So please reach out if you have any questions. It should be pretty easy on the site to see what has Canva templates. But if you're struggling in that area for any reason, you know, please reach out to us, because again, we're here to just, you know, help and serve you in the best ways. So guys, it's been an amazing time with you. Let me just see if somebody has a question. Somebody's saying my niche is acne and eczema reversal. So let me show you a few, actually, because skin is a very, very close to home. I had the worst, and still do, I would say that's a big thing that happens with my gut issues, is it can affect my skin. So one of my favorite, and one that actually, right, one that is my favorite that we had created is actually a Candida program. It is omnivore, so I'm going to even just show you how amazing this program is. It depends how you want to approach this, but I love this program. I mean, we wrote it because I do believe that so many people struggle with this, unbeknownst to themselves, and they have kids with diaper rash and cradle cap and all the things that we struggle with, or toenail fungus, and we suffer. So this is a Candida program. It is omnivore. It kind of is more based on the teachings of Donna Gates. We do have a more restrictive AIP, and of course, we do have programs like the all raw that is completely all raw, and of course a lot of variation in between. It depends on your approach, and this is what I mean about a signature process and method, is that each one of you, because I've talked to each one of you, have so many different ways of approaching, just like my way of approaching my client's transformation is going to be different than yours. So if it's more that you are looking at this as far as like yeast and fungal, then I would say this is a home run, because it takes you through, and you will see, takes you through all that information. It gives you structure, you know, for really teaching your client, and also, of course, getting them on foods that are going to be really beneficial, giving them like a step-by-step guide. and teaches them like how to get started, like where to begin, everything, what to eat. And of course, I always had my clients like print out this one page, or I would put it on their session notes. You can do a program like that. You could also, because there is your training PowerPoints. So you could also, I always say, it's amazing to have these PowerPoints because it makes just teaching for your client much easier. That's option one. Let me just show you. And you can edit it, make any changes. Phase one, of course, is getting like the foods to eliminate. Phase two of this is just adding slowly back in, foods. This would be one suggestion to kind of approach this more of like that gut and yeast issue. Another is to look at the skin one. So beautiful. This is such a beautiful program. And to really bleed into this course, I mean, not only do I feel like this is really beautiful on the eye and easy, but I do think that this is a major pain point for people right now, especially because people have been more at home. We see all of that stuff trending, the hair oils and the anti-aging oils and all this stuff that has really just hit the market. So you could really address the acne and the skin through taking somebody through this kind of course. If you do feel that it's more the gut issue, I would look at Restore Your Gut because it's just such a beautiful program. It can be extended, especially when we are working with skin issues, whether it's food and or bacteria and or, stress. So I'm more than happy to kind of break that down and go through it because I think that there's a bunch of different approaches that you can take. It can also, of course, be hormonal. And I'll show you the 21-day hormone detox because I know when I don't take my DIM or eat DIM foods, I can feel a little off, groggy and just kind of blah. I don't know any other way to explain it, but we all know that feeling where we feel like bogged down with water, whether you want to call it edema or just inflammation or swelling. This is such a beautiful program too. A lot of people who do skin and work, with women, this is a really great program because I feel that a short program is great, self-paced, but it's also really easy to personalize. You can address this from the hormone perspective. Really, talk about this, a lot, even look at the estrogen dominance and if you needed to add some additional PowerPoint presentations to that. One that if it was specific in getting into like SIBO, that you could always, if that's your area of expertise, or if it's more anti-aging, and then being able to use these PowerPoints, which I was telling you guys about, really looking at like the endocrine disruptors, using this to either create a mini teaching series, to do a 3-part training, to do a intensive masterclass for maybe like $47 and then upselling them to a higher ticket group, all possible. And it doesn't take complicated systems, guys. It just takes like thinking about it and saying, what would be the best place for this person to go? So you will see right here. I think that there's a lot of different things that you could do. And really also kind of formulate your vision of why is skin bad? Is it the toxins in the home? We have the 5-day toxin-free challenge, which is awesome. We have a PowerPoint on toxins in the home. I think that's the biggest part that I always say I feel like we're all missing is maybe we do create a lot, but we're either not messaging it right, or we've created stuff that was actually based on our journey and maybe not where our ideal client is. And let me just kind of explain on that, and then I'll talk about how to use the beauty course. A lot of people will end up creating an entire like signature course off of, you know, an idea and something that is 100% marketable and 100% works, but it may be more based on like the commitment level of us or our journey. I know, being a detox specialist and working with people who had a lot of issues, there weren't many people who were doing enemas or who were willing to do it. And that started giving me a really clear insight into my ideal client. And also started seeing that as much as I was talking about all this, and that was, you know, the detox and my ideal client, there was a whole group of other women or people who were athletes, who were really busy corporate, who were also my ideal client, and they needed to be educated more on lower level issues and inflammation and getting off gluten and dairy, and that I had that real high intensity detox person. I had a lot of people I worked with, you know, kind of that lymphatic weight and food sensitivities and a lot of that stuff, because that was a huge part of my my experience. But I look back and that's why I had kind of those different funnels that actually spoke to those different stages where my clients were. I called that lower level kind of this stage, the problems of like 1, 2, and 3. And they were most often that person who just like, I feel really stuck. You know, I don't know what's going on. I feel off. I'm tired. But they hadn't been anywhere where they were diagnosed. And I mean, like, oh, I was told that I had thyroid issues. I was told this. They still were not feeling great. And so they wanted to make a change, but I wouldn't say that they needed, you know, they needed a lot, or they hadn't come up against an issue where they really had to change. Whereas people in that 4, 5, and 6, there was a little more incentive, not as many objections, maybe more objections where it was about cost. And that's where I started creating do-it-yourselves and groups, because not everyone, even when, you know, I was charging not a ton, can afford or feel that they're going to pull from a reserve and put into coaching. That's the beautiful thing about when we have these different opportunities, is that trust does get built when somebody works with you and they have a win. So I would really kind of look at your signature approach, each one of you, and break it down into, these are the steps that we take, and this is why you want to do a longer program with me. And this is kind of what we can cover so that you're clear on your offers. And if somebody gets off the phone, it's because you're really not a good match for them, and that's meant for somebody else. Somebody's saying, I want to focus on emotional eating. Well, let me show you that one. I cried the whole time I wrote this. This doesn't have a vegetarian option. And so when we say emotional eating, because I did work with a lot of women and girls and people with emotional eating. I was an emotional eater, you know, when I was younger. And I worked with also a lot of teams because I started to build that referral network, and people would bring me in more for that emotional support and helping somebody to kind of transition out of their fear. I call it the gutsy journey. And so when I wrote this wasn't necessarily for the person who had like severe eating disorder. This was for like the woman who, or the man who kind of like shoved feelings and often would martyr through life and put other people first and was a people pleaser. And so when I wrote this, it was because I was working with so many people that had weight, and so many people that, so many women, so many men who were just busy and never really carved out time for self. So this is a great emotional eating, very different than eating with intuition. And that program, I would say, is really for the person who is 100% ready, even if they're scared. They're ready to do that work. And or I have a bunch of coaches who do private masterminds, higher ticket masterminds, retreats, because it's a 3-month program and it really, really goes deep into the soul and like coming back home. So all of our programs are broken down like this. Most of them, with ease, you can just go in and edit and pull, content out if you are doing, if you need, certain handouts pulled out. But you will see there's a lot of little homework. I would say with all, the many years that I coached, I wouldn't say that there was any one person who just exactly did a program, because I feel like, I would give homework and we would kind of work on different things, but I also would give little videos. I felt that, people needed that structure. That also helped with the conversion. It also helped for me to stay structured and be able to give my clients little handouts and work on, the affirmations and stuff of that, nature. So I love, was I not sharing? Oh my God. That would have been good if I shared, guys. Somebody raise your hand next. So let me just show you it, because I just went right through. But you can see, at the end of the day, this is so much my passion. Is it is the coaching. It's why I became a coach, because I do feel that a lot of us didn't either learn those tools, or that we still don't know how to really, self-modulate. And some do it better than others, and that's why we hire those people, for that area, so that we really get better with our tools. But you will see here, you can take somebody day by day. It's an amazing, amazing program. I think it's really, yes, I did write it, but I think for the people that I've worked with, this was such a simple way to kind of address it. And of course, I always gave a Janine Roth book, because I just think she's fabulous. But it takes you through your life. I would say, if you want to specialize in emotional eating and then transition as that next, like the end program into intuitive eating. But if you work with people who never want to go to kind of that deeper work, doesn't mean that they don't work in their life. It's just that not everyone, I think, is that makeup to go really, really deep and pull out that, some of that more, uncomfortable stuff that keeps us really sick. So this is a lot about holding boundaries, not people pleasing. The only thing is, yes, like I said, that's only omnivore. And you're saying emotional eating and hormones. I think they're completely connected. I know for me, I've looked at the science of blood sugar and hormones and endocrine and eating issues. I think they're completely, and I think a lot of people would really identify with that and be really blown away to bring in the aspect of food and mood, and to really kind of show how that plays a part, if that's, what you want to go for, and to showcase that, to really explain, these are the steps that I help people take to end this like massive stress eating, because we get stuck in 1, 2, 3, and really to like play that out. Somebody saying, how would I use the beauty course? So this is where I say there has to be a balance. This is where I think there has to be a balance. For some of you, you have programs, but maybe you're not list building enough. And so if it were myself, where I had programs and I really wanted to like use those either as low cost classes, I would be like, you know what? we're going to do this beauty course. We're all going to kind of get healthy, get clean. Some of you are with Beauty Counter. Some of you make your own skincare lines. But I would use that, if that were me, as like a very low cost offer, to bring people in more like, hey, we're doing, you know, a class a month, or to use that to create, like, you know, a video series, and then to bring some of the other key PowerPoints into my one-on-one, or even in a group. I don't think that it has to be 5 months. I think that's the beautiful thing about courses, is each of those modules can be independent. I had a lot of success with doing a class a month, because I just found that people weren't always so committal, but they were like, oh my God, I would come for that class. And so if you really structure it and say, on the 3rd of every month, the 3rd week, or the 3rd, you know, Sunday, or the 3rd Thursday, then, you know, in the beginning of the month, you can send out an email and be like, hey guys, this is our class this month. You know, this is what we're going to be covering. If you want to join, you know, join here. And so you can do it in that one model. I would say that if you feel that you want to do it as a higher cost paid, I still think it's the same model. Higher cost paid for a course. You could do it where you are doing coaching like each month in that area. We have a lot of beauty coaches, so this kind of was something that just felt right, and people would always say, are you doing something on skin and beauty? And I think that also it can be a self-paced experience, like, hey, come through the self-paced, and you don't have to do all the modules. You could do some, and then they could feed off each month into, you know, hey, why don't you fill out this job form, see where you are. Do you need additional support as far as hormones, gut, and kind of build around the course, which almost is that same theory of building around one soup. Like, everyone comes into this one self-paced course, or they come into this low-cost offer of a membership, and they feed out either into one-on-one, higher ticket. I think it depends really on each person's different business vision. I have a client, she really has fed everyone into her membership, and we did a really, you know, a hard push for an entire, like, fall season, just teasing out what that membership was going to be, so that when she came out and did a founder's bonus, you know, hey, get this bonus if you sign up by this time, she had a lot of people. And then she opened backup cart, you know, 6 months later. But some people are kind of the opposite. And I was a huge one-on-one person. I created my other downsell offers to offset my time in my one-on-one, also to kind of balance it, because it can be really intense working with people who are either sick, or you know, families that I worked with who were going through autism protocols, ADD, ADHD, behavior issues. And so sometimes it's just a nice balance. I hope that kind of explained it. When you're saying, can you give us the title of Janine Roth? I forget which one. I mean, there's Feeding the Hungry Heart, and then it goes all the way up. But I would give my clients either something like Louise Hay or a Janine Roth excerpt or something. So I can't exactly remember, but I know that at New Times, I would just send somebody via Amazon. Very simple. My specialty is environmental toxins and stress, detox, diet, and gut. Oh, I think that's beautiful. I know that there's a huge amount of talk, and it's kind of really exciting because sometimes really like crappy situations that we've all witnessed can really bring bring health or awareness to another level. And so I know that there's so much different information these days about environmental toxins, so many different companies, so many different simple ways. And I would say my biggest suggestion with that is really showing people that it's doable even when it feels really tough, or when you're really busy. How do you clean up your house? How do you clean up your mind? How do you clean up your diet? And so I would say that there are a bunch of different, I'll just show you even the 5-day toxin-free challenge. I love this. I personally would make this, an evergreen, which means that once you do it, you're creating these videos around the guide. And I would have one welcome, like, hey, this is my story, kind of an introduction, and then take them through each day of the guide. Like, this is why, this is what we're going to do. So that each day there's a video that goes, and that you can say at the end of each email, hey, hit reply if you want to see how toxic you are, or are those toxins eating you alive? My clients struggle with the following, or I struggled. And then taking them through actually cleaning up that kitchen. What does it look like? What are your favorite products? And I think that's the big thing about coaching, is we have to make it look, doable. Otherwise, people just sit there and say, there's no way I can do this. And then they don't convert. They know there's a problem. And that's the thing with human nature and psychology of people, is we know there's a problem, but we need somebody to almost be that person in our head and say, I know that you know about this word toxins, but let's break this down over these 5 videos. Let's really help you. Let's really see how toxins are affecting you. So this would be one option. Another, of course, another would be focusing and doing this on a PowerPoint, doing maybe like, a webinar, like, hey guys, we're going to kick off the end of the summer, right? Or scheduling this as, your webinar leading to a program, or leading to you one-on-one, and really breaking it down. So I think that's the other part, is we don't realize that toxins are really everywhere, or how it's affecting us. So I think the biggest thing that I would do would be to have those as different pillars, and then make sure that you're looking at your freebies and what would be like your low cost option, and what would be maybe a group. Do you want to do a detox in the fall? Do you want to detox and pair it with like a PowerPoint to kind of really showcase the toxin-free life? What freebie really fits you the best, and kind of your personality of teaching. You could also, of course, instead of focusing on the problem, focus on something. Love this one. Kind of like reverse engineer it and really hit on the problem. Like, I know you're really stressed right now, and that's why we're gonna set the stage, and we're gonna kick off, with kind of a 5-day reset. Could also even look at the digital detox, which is a freebie. I think that's a fun thing, and clearly you can see how I start to smile when it comes to content. It's that we really have to use it, though. And I think that's where people often, we get a little stuck, because it can be a little scary, or where do I post this, or what platform? But it's like, start sharing and showing people, like, hey, and one of the coaches who was always very successful, actually every coach that I've known who was successful in the beginning, we did do this by starting to talk on our personal page. Because people start tagging people. They tag their friends, or they send you a personal message. It's really shocking sometimes, people who come into our life because of the things we show up, or maybe Instagram is a better platform for kind of where your ideal client hangs out, or, as I always suggest, reaching out to people who that are either thought leaders or influencers and saying, hey, I would love to come on your podcast, or I would love to come and talk about, stress and environmental toxins, and really position yourself as that expert. Start doing videos, putting them on YouTube. Still to this day, that's how people would find me, because I said, you know what, I'm going to do a video a day until I get comfortable. I'm going to do it unlisted. And the day that I felt that it was good enough, I hit that button and I said, I'm going to publish this. And then I started to just do videos. I found that for a person like me who is dyslexic and then had just a lot of my own self-doubts, but also for a person that had gone through my own different struggle of, being young and having issues and health issues, birthing my children, marrying my husband who has psoriasis, birthing, autoimmune babies, working corporate, I think that we have so many different, one in marketing is called micro stories in our life. And we just need to focus on, of course, not being all over. But if you go back and you listen to a lot of my early videos and my webinars and stuff of that nature, it was always touching on topics that other people were touching on. I knew that I had to be willing to talk about the elephant in the room. While somebody else may be a little nervous to talk about candida or urinary tract infection, I knew, well, I struggled with that. So my ideal client is probably feeling like overwhelmed and upset and sad, just like I am, or, the parents who were working with their kids with early intervention. Thank God we did so much early intervention, because I gave them so many heavy metals and issues. And I always would think, well, I better have content out there. I better have myself out there, because there is somebody struggling just like me. And I think that's the part that I see a lot of coaches get tripped up on. I will just say this, and then we will close, is that I don't think there's just, as somebody saying, specialized in digestive wellness, what of yours fits in this category. Let me just show you the gut program and the gut challenge, which I think is so awesome. We also have a complete funnel. So let me just kind of show you right here. We do have a complete funnel. So if you, or we can always personalize kind of a funnel for you. But I have a lot of coaches who love this because it kind of just puts everything in a package. So this does have a Restore Your Gut program, the 10-day sugar detox, 10 ways to repair, 5-day gut health challenge, and a workshop. Restore Your Gut program is right here. I'll just go right here. Or I'll show you actually in here. What am I talking about? Reach, use your brain. So this is an amazing, this was like the crux of my entire business. I found that even with people who are a little more advanced with health issues, we were either working in co-collaboration with a team. I talked to a lot of people like myself who were doing testing already. And that's why I always say, for my business and for the people that I was attracting, I had these different levels. But this is a great program that is the basics of gut, but really takes you through food allergies, understanding, talking about even testing when getting off all the junk is not working. All of our programs are gluten-free. This even talks about the toxicity levels, self-care tools. And a lot of our programs have these tools because they were the tools that helped me, and the tools that I think we often forget because they aren't, people don't advocate them all the time in traditional ways. in traditional medicine. And not saying that doctors aren't amazing. I was very fortunate to have amazing doctors. I think that's just not something we talk about enough. So this is a great program. I would look at the Restore Your Gut because it comes with PowerPoints, it comes with freebies. If you needed to add additional freebies like the 5-day gut challenge or something that you really felt spoke to your ideal client. For some people, it is having one on, hormone or maybe they have an area where they focus more on like skin. But that's why I always say, think of your freebies. And what I was going to say about the formats is people process information differently. So if you're not doing one that in kind of like, here, come and get this checklist, or, come and get this video series, or here's this webinar, or here's this training, then really we fall short in testing what really works for our ideal clients and what converts best. I found that I always had to do videos because it was much easier for me to express the extensiveness and the extensive journey for somebody like me, and that's who my ideal client was. I worked with a lot of people who were busy corporate. They had a lot of skin issues, health issues, gut. And so I don't ever feel like I deviated from really my ideal client. I did work with people of all different ages who fit my vision of my ideal client, somebody that I knew that I could really work with and really help them to not only transform their diet and everything else, but also to really address, their mindset and to kind of get them past like the fear of eating out and the fear of gut issues and a lot of core pain points that my ideal client struggled with in higher level problems. But I know that we have like a lot of programs. I would say if you feel like confused and you're like, you know what, I really need to get somebody on the phone, feel free to reach out. I know that I'm also going to be doing a series of lives tomorrow, Friday, August 21st at 3. I'm doing a live kind of breaking down a program. How to build like a gut weight loss business. Doesn't mean I'm saying that anyone needs to be a weight loss coach, but I realized this does not have to be everyone's, journey. But I realized a lot of people came to me with like bloating issues, uncomfortable, unexplained weight gain, just a lot of issues that the word weight that it fell around. But I always made it different. I'd say, we're going to really work on the lymphatic system. We're going to work on doing weight loss different. And I knew that I needed to separate myself. And I also knew that I needed to showcase what really is that signature process that I feel, truly needs to be addressed. What is the name of the gut program? It's Restore Your Gut Health. It's right under the mega programs on the site, or you can just go into shop and just do a search. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I hope that you enjoyed kind of the unconventional training. I felt that it would be nice to kind of make it a little different because I have tons of trainings. You can go to rachelafeldman.com, go to the Start Here page. You can even go to our replay page that I always have either a savings code or, replays like this. And if you have any additional questions, please ask. There's no reason to feel frustrated or overwhelmed. But I will say this, it does take work, but it's exciting work. It's like exciting to really put together your vision. We just try to make it easier so you don't have to spend that time creating a course. You don't have to spend that time making a PowerPoint, find a virtual assistant, hiring a copywriter. And so we do it for you. Somebody's saying logged on late. Hi, Jody. Well, if you logged on late, you logged on early. It's a big virtual hug, and I can't wait to get to know you guys. So if you have any additional questions about a 2-tier or 3-tier work with me, or different formats of freebies or workshops, master classes, stuff of that nature, possibilities are endless when you have the content that you just need. And then it takes which is why I want to sit down with those pricing. It takes your calculator. It's no different from some of the testimonials you see of people who are doing high ticket, they're doing retreats, or they're doing it with a low offer cost strategy or memberships. Just decide what really fits your personality, what fits you, and what's going to showcase your amazingness, amazing transformation to your ideal client. With that being said, big kiss to everyone. If you have any questions, pop them in at yourhealthcoachbiz.com, and I will see you soon. Take it easy. Bye.